Hello, yes.
Oh, there it comes. Oh, sweet, I get a car commercial. Yeah.
All right, and thank you for that. And we are back live here, Season 4 of the Monday Night Halls on Post Pro Series. I'll tell you what, in the booth with me tonight, as always, Tracy Flip Robinson. They call me the Cowboy, J.D. Webb. And newcomer, team owner from Dragon Motorsports, Wendy Bernard, joining us in the booth this season. And I'll tell you what, last season, Tracy, let's talk about James Greegate here for a minute. James Greegate sat on the top of the heap there pretty early in the game, but suddenly found himself going south here after a short time.
Yeah, James pretty much got himself so busy this summer that it cut into his racing time there a little bit, JD. He didn't get to concentrate at the tracks as much as he wanted when we talked to him. But I tell you what, you come out and you take 3 straight wins like that, you're definitely going to be your concentrations off if you don't finish good into the consecutive races after that, JD.
Yeah, you bet. James Greegate winning at Kansas, Michigan, right back-to-back there, 3 in a row, but then suddenly going to Nashville, wound up with a 15th place finish there, and it was just downhill from there. 10th place at Kentucky, and then I think he missed 1 or 2 races. But I'll tell you what, that set Jason Riddle up for the chase up to Chris Wilson. Chris Wilson, of course, was duking it out with James Greegate for a while. But then after Nashville, Chris Wilson takes the lead, but here comes Jason Riddle.
Yeah, I tell you, Jason Riddle did a heck of a job that year. At the beginning, he looked like he was just kind of hanging in the back, just running comfortably. But I tell you what, that strategy he did worked out great, as Jason Riddle just slowly worked his way forward as the other contenders had a few problems, and then towards the end of the season, tell you what, Jason Riddle was just on a hard rush and push to keep up with Wilson, JD.
Yeah, you bet. And Chris Wilson, leading the points there for a number of weeks, fell behind. He had some luck. Actually, had some bad luck come his way. Started at Pocono Raceway in August, on August 8th, and I believe he had some engine troubles there. Watkins Glen had some issues there. And then at Michigan again, so 3 races right in a row here, Tracy, and some real bad luck coming to Chris Wilson.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was some crazy luck. To lead a lap at a race, pretty much led the whole thing, to come down to the last corner and have your engine blow up with like 2 laps to go in the race. Nobody could ask for that kind of bad luck to happen to you, JD.
You got that right. Chris Wilson finishing second behind Jason Riddle for the overall standings in the Monday Night Pro Series, 13 points behind, putting up a pretty good fight, though, all season long. But I'll tell you what, let's talk about this season. News has it that Dan White coming out of retirement.
Do you have commercials for the Three Musketeers still popping up, JD? He took a season off, and we found out what he was doing with his free time there, JD. He was out there helping number 8 of Dave Hooten of Dragon Motorsports, giving him a little advice, being a little mentor for him and a spotter, giving him some hints and help to get him around them tracks a little bit better. And he said that it seemed to work out pretty good. Now it's time to come back racing and come after these guys and to get his pro season and championship back on his side.
Yeah, but you know what? Sitting out a season might have cost him some time. These guys, and it's been said. In fact, it's been overheard from Dan White that he figures these guys have gotten just a little bit faster, in the season that he sat out. So he does have some work cut out for him. But I'll tell you what, no better person to have in your stable than Dan White when it comes to having a live spotter and a coach on your team. So welcome back to Pro Series Racing, Dan White. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break right here. So, hey, stay tuned. The Monday Night Halls on Post Monday Night Pro Series pre-race activity. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back live. Richmond Speedway, I tell you what, 3/4 mile track here tonight. The Monday Night Halls on Post Pro Series getting underway tonight, inaugural race for Season 4. But, Wendy, we're going to be in Chicago on the 19th next week.
Joliet, Illinois. That's home of Chicagoland Speedway. It's a 1.5 mile track, and it's got 18-degree banking.
Absolutely, and then the week after that, going to be on September 26th. We're going to be out there on the East Coast in New Hampshire.
Loudon, New Hampshire is the home of New Hampshire Raceway. It's a 1 mile track, and the variable banking in the turns, there's 2 to 7 degrees.
You know, and I hope things dry out by the time we get there. I know, you know, we're having some awfully wet weather out there on the East Coast out there, but, you know, it's sticking around out there. Heading towards Delaware, one of my favorite tracks, Wendy.
Dover International Speedway in Dover, Delaware. It's a 1 mile track with 24-degree banking.
The Monster Mile, they call her. And then we're going to move just a little bit further west, heading into the Midwest Corn Huskers region. We're going to be in Kansas.
Kansas City, Kansas is the home of Kansas Speedway. 1.5 mile track with 15-degree banking.
You bet, and that happens on October 10th. And then on October 17th, a week after Kansas, we're going to be heading out towards North Carolina.
Charlotte Speedway is located in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's another 1.5 mile track, and it's got 24-degree banking.
And that'll take place on October 17th. And on October 24th, hey, big track stuff, back down towards the Florida area, or the Alabama area, actually, Talladega Speedway.
Talladega, Alabama, home of Talladega Super Speedway. It's a 2.6 mile track with 33-degree banking.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, Wendy, I believe the banking there at Talladega is actually steeper than the banking at Daytona. A little known fact. Everybody seems to think that Daytona's got the biggest turns. But after that, moving on towards Virginia.
Martinsville Speedway, Ridgeway, Virginia. It's a 1/2 mile track with only 11-degree banking in the turns.
Okay, and look for that race on October 31st, Halloween night, right here on ETV Live. And from there, we go to Texas.
Fort Worth, Texas, home of Texas Speedway. Another 1.5 mile track, and it's got 24 degrees banking.
That race will take place on November 7th. But after that, moving just a little bit further west, guys, I tell you what, Phoenix, Arizona, on the 14th of November, and I love this track.
Phoenix International Raceway, Avondale, Arizona, 1 mile track. It's got 2 different degrees of banking, 11 degrees in the first and second turns and 9 in the third and fourth turns.
You bet. Kind of a funky little track, but I'll tell you what, it's fast, it's quick, and it's fun. And then from Phoenix, we're going to go back east just a little bit, heading towards Atlanta, Georgia.
Hampton, Georgia, the home of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Atlanta's a 1.5 mile track with 24-degree banking.
And that'll happen on the 28th of November. We're going to wrap things up down in Florida, one of my favorite tracks, and I know this is another track that Dragon Motorsports, one of you spent a lot of time at, Homestead, Miami.
Down in Homestead, Florida, Homestead, Miami Speedway, 18 to 20-degree banking on a 1.5 mile track.
And that'll wrap up the Monday Night Halls on Post Pro Series. That'll happen on December 5th, guys. So I'll tell you what, we've got a fast season worth of racing, good season worth of racing, and it's up for grabs. And I'll tell you what, let's talk about Richmond here tonight, guys. Some statistics that we want to throw your way. Look for a caution average tonight of 7 cautions, guys. I know that's a little extreme. We've been here 3 times, Tracy, and all 3 times the caution seems to have gotten the upper hand.
Yeah, I tell you what, this track tends to burn off that left front tire, JD. Not really a lot of banking for these cars at the speed they enter them corners. You got to set your car up a little loose in the beginning. Otherwise, if you set up to where it runs good at the start, you're going to be burn off that left front tire, and your car will just push terribly coming out of them corners, JD.
You bet, 3/4 mile track here, so it is absolutely short track racing here on Monday night. But you know what, let's talk about some people who have been here before. Of course, starting at the top here with 2 wins, Kevin Brents. And I look for him to be at least up in the top 5. But I tell you, there's some more people here who've had some pretty decent finishes here. Larry Mulligan, who finished 6th in the overall points in Season 3. 3 top 10s, guys, but he's finished no higher than 6th place, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, them guys did a great job. This track, I tell you, like I said, he's just controlling, it's the guys who can take care of their tires are the ones who are going to finish in that top 10, JD.
You bet. Tony Bowling's got that experience too. A couple of top 10, 6th and 7th place finish here at Richmond Speedway. Dwayne Hall, he's got one top 5, one top 10 finish here. And then I'll tell you what, the drivers, rounding out the 5 drivers that we're going to be watching tonight, second place finisher last season, Chris Wilson, to Jason Riddle. He's got 1 win, 1 top 5 finish here at Richmond Speedway, guys. So I'll tell you what, this will be a night of fun racing for all 5 of these guys. Looking for any one of these guys to be in the top 5 tonight, Tracy.
Well, I'm thinking we're just going to have an exciting race here tonight, JD, because you've got a lot of guys coming back. Hopefully these guys have been practicing, adjusting their setups to give us a good race. But I tell you what, that group of guys we just discussed who have really good finishes here will put on a great race tonight.
You bet. And Wendy Bernard, team owner from Dragon Motorsports, welcome to the booth this season, Halls on Post Monday Night Pro Series. I tell you what, you're also going to be in charge of the buffet this season, I take it.
Yeah, that's what I've been told, so y'all better just hold on to your hats and prepare for the ride.
All right, it's about time we had a woman in the kitchen, don't you think, Tracy?
Yeah, I tell you what, it'd be a good change. I got tired of jumping the dumpster about every 3rd week.
I tell you what, we do have some fun here on ETV. All right, and in the booth with us this evening here at Richmond, none other than Dan White, shortly before he gets started here down on the track. Dan White coming back after a Season 3 hiatus, but you weren't exactly sitting in your armchair watching the races on TV. What were you doing in Season 3?
Well, I was coaching another driver who, I wanted to try an experiment and see if I could help another driver progress a little bit more quickly than just being on their own and picking up little tidbits from here and there, different practice sessions and whatnot. So I wanted to try some, a program of intense coaching, and I chose the number 8 of Dave Hooten, a driver I've raced many races with, and and watched, and he was a very clean, respectful driver, and he knew when to race and when to get out of the way, and that played a lot into the decision as to who I chose for that. And I'm proud to say at the end of Season 3 with Dave Hooten, he got 2 wins on that season. One was in a fixed setup series on a Saturday night, and the other was in open setup series on the Sunday night Exile Racing Series. So the driver did indeed progress a lot. He learned a lot, and he's quite thankful for what I did for him and helped him on the way. But that was a lot of fun on my part. I really enjoyed it, watching Dave, and I would spot for him occasionally during the races and tell him, what I thought he should do and how he should handle situations, and it all worked out pretty well. He was quite impressive this last season.
I'll tell you what, it sounds like it was a pretty successful experiment. I know that you announced your retirement at the beginning of Season 3, end of Season 2, and championship run during the Halls on Post Pro Series Season 2. You're coming back in Season 4 here, and, after taking Season 3 off, do you feel like you've missed anything?
Well, I may have missed a little bit as far as remembering how to race these guys. Setup-wise, I think I'm still going to be quite competitive. Everybody, during any course of any season, they're always going in practice sessions and trying to tweak on their setup to get it just that little bit better than what it was the last time they ran it, and I'll be doing the same thing. So, I don't feel as I'm an underdog in that sense, but I'm coming back. I'm coming back hard, and hopefully I'm going to try my best again, take the championship.
I'm coming back hard. Is there any other way for Dan White? Hey, 121 career starts, Dan. In those 121 starts, you've got 31 wins, 86 top 5s, 97 top 10s. I mean, what else is left to do?
40 wins.
40 wins. There you go. I'll tell you what. Season 2 championship driver takes Season 3 off. some new drivers coming out there on the track. You just mentioned a little bit ago, coming back hard, you're going to give it your all and everything. I don't know that there's any other way for Dan White. Typically, we see Dan White running in the top 5, if not the top 3, for about 90% of the race. Any special strategies you've got put together for Season 4 here? Anything you're looking for? We do have some new drivers, some new blood, and guys that you haven't been able to race against yet.
Well, no real new strategies. Just going to concentrate on getting the best possible finish each and every race that I can. Try to keep the car clean and not bring out any cautions. Just try to stay competitive, but be a force at the end. It's not the amount of wins that you get; it's the consistency of your finishes that wins championships. So that's what we're going for. So in Season 2, when I won that championship, it was the most battled championship that I have ever been in. The last 5-6 races, battling back and forth between J.J. Schlafer and myself for the points lead. That was intense. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. I could have easily had a much larger lead, but a couple of the races I messed up and brought out cautions, and you lose 5 points. That's a big chunk of the points out of the championship run. So I'm going to try and not do that this season.
We had quite a battle this Season 2, Season 3, and it was actually a 3-way about the first half of the season. We had James Greegate out there in the lead, Chris Wilson and Jason Riddle, of course, taking a back seat there for a short while. James Greegate, three consecutive wins in the series, but then he kind of dropped out of sight. I think it was a 15th place finish at Nashville, and 10th place at Kentucky, and then from then on out, he just kind of took the elevator down to the basement. But Jason Riddle, Chris Wilson battled it out pretty much the rest of the season, and of course bad luck coming to Chris Wilson, a couple of engine failures and some electrical problems. But in that respect, Dan, we all know that stuff happens out there on the track. What prepares you for that kind of event?
Well, nothing really prepares you for it. You just hope like heck that it doesn't happen to you, and it does happen to your nearest opponent if it has to happen to somebody. You don't wish it really. You don't wish it on anybody. You want to. I know Chris must feel real bad about losing that championship with the electrical issues he had in the last race, and giving the championship over to Jason Riddle, but I'm quite sure Jason Riddle would have much rather have battled Chris Wilson for that championship all the way to the checkered flag. And but those sort of things happen, and they can't you can't let them get to you. You just got to look forward to the next race, or in Chris's case, the next season, and just take what comes. It comes your way, and accept it as being limitations of what we do on the internet.
Yeah, I got you there. And a couple more questions, Dan. We'll wrap this thing up. We're at Richmond here tonight, 3/4 mile track. Anything can happen out here. We've got a caution average of 7 cautions. That's over 3 races during the 2011 season here at the Nation. Anything we should be looking for here at Richmond tonight?
Well, the thing with Richmond is it seems the setups have a tendency to get a little bit loose, somewhere around between lap 20 and 30, especially if you're driving it really hard. You get that right rear hot, and it takes forever. If you try and slow the car down to cool that right rear down, it's going to take you forever, and you're just going to fall like a rock. But if you aren't careful, you'll end up spinning out, especially coming out of turn 2. That seems to be the real trouble spot. Guys want to push out to the wall, and they keep the car turned, and then it gets pushed, and then it gets loose, and they spin it out there. But I'm just looking to get a good solid finish like I did back in Season 2. I finished in the top 5 here, so I'm hoping to be able to come out with a top 5 finish tonight.
Outstanding. And Dan, we want to thank you for joining us in the booth here tonight, the inaugural race for the Halls on Post Monday night series. And I'll tell you what, much appreciated. I know, you spend a lot of time, your devotion to the league. You've got a ton of respect out there from all of the drivers, and you're pretty much the Bill Elliott of the nation. How does that make you feel?
Well, truthfully, it makes me feel pretty good. I made a lot of friends, and one of the things I really wanted to do in online racing is, gain the respect of my competitors, and that's something that you strive for, and for people to know that when you're racing around them, that they're safe, you're not going to run them over, or you're not going to run them up to the wall, or you're not going to ruin their night. That's a pretty good feeling to know that those drivers have that respect for you. And I, in turn, give that respect back to the drivers. I'm always willing to help out anybody. All they have to do is just ask. I'm available. Just ask. I don't know what you want until you tell me what you want. So if you need any help, I am more than willing to give it all to you. And I'll tell you all my little secrets and tricks and everything. I don't hide nothing.
All right, you heard it here first, live on ETV. He will tell you all his tricks. So Dan White, former champion, Season 2, here at the RaceSimNation.com. And I'll tell you what, thanks, Dan, for joining us in the booth tonight. And, as always, you're always welcome up here.
Well, thank you, JD, and thank you guys in the booth. You guys do an awesome job broadcasting these races, and I want to wish all of my opponents a good season this year, and good luck to everybody.
You bet. And Tracy, you heard it live from Dan White, and I'll tell you what, if we had a phone bank back here in the back of the room, I suppose all the lights would be lit up by now. It wouldn't take them long. Dan White offering some help out there to anybody who asks.
Yeah, the phone banks would be just lit up, probably asking just some questions you off the wall you probably wouldn't think you would hear from people. But tell you what, in this type of racing, sometimes it's the smallest things that'll give you the most advantages.
Absolutely. All right, former champion Dan White in the booth with us tonight. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
MTCO Communications, dude, I'll tell you what, the only place to get your gaming servers, no contract, month to month. Get gaming tonight with Battlefield 2. Hey, Call of Duty, do it with R-Factor, Arca Sim Racing, dude. I'll tell you what, $49 a month, no better deal anywhere. Remote access, virus filters, remote power cycle, no player limit, no bandwidth, dude. Dedicated servers. Hey, do it tonight. Give them a call, 800-859-6826.
And now I'd like to direct your attention trackside as national recording artists, the Cactus Cuties, present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
All right, and I'll tell you what, the Cactus Cooties in that national anthem, that's probably one of the best versions of the national anthem that I have ever heard in my life, and we're proud to feature them each Monday night here and Wednesday night at the MTCO.com Team Racing Series. We've got about a minute to go here, having a little bit of technical problems, and Tracy, you back with us?
Yeah, JD, I'm here. Sounds like we just got a communication problem there a little bit, but we can get it taken care of here shortly.
Hey, that's typical. You know how it is here at ETV. Everything's always a beta test. I'll tell you what, qualifying order tonight, Kevin Brent's on the top. Now, we'll go over the picks tonight, the power rankings a little bit later on in the broadcast, but Kevin Brent has been here before, 2 wins. He's got the pole here tonight. And Kyle Lent, he's been here before, too. Kyle Lent, one top 5 finish in the 2011 season, qualified on the outside next to Kevin Brent. But about ready to turn this thing over to race mode here at the Nation. Richmond Speedway here tonight, Richmond International Speedway, and 3/4 mile short track racing here tonight, Tracy. I'll tell you what, I've been looking forward to this all week.
Yeah, that 2-week hiatus, you start to miss the racing, get you excited for the new season to start. Get these guys out there and see who's been practicing and see who hasn't for the last 2 weeks, getting ready for the new season here at the Hall of Impose Series.
Yeah, you bet. Those engines are starting to get fired up down there on Pit Road, and these guys will be taking the grid here just shortly, and we'll get set to get this thing rolling. And I tell you what, it was awful nice to have Dan White with us here tonight. But let's take you down through the grid, starting on the pole tonight, number 42, Kevin Brent.
Starting second tonight, the number 16 of Kyle Lent.
Frankie Samanta will be starting in third.
Starting fourth tonight, the 96 of Jason Riddle.
Rookie of the Year 2011 at Grundy Speedway, James Greegate starting fifth.
Starting your sixth position, the 27 of Larry Mulliken.
And Danny Gabaldon in that 62 machine starting 7th tonight.
Starting 8th, our guest tonight, Dan White in the number 4 car.
And Chris Wilson duked it out last season with Jason Riddle starting in 9th tonight.
And in 10th, Trackmaster, number 55 of Dwayne Hall.
Chris Melton will be starting in 11th position tonight.
Starting 12th night, the 99 of Steven Spieth.
Roger Haygood, newcomer this season, starting 13th.
Starting 14th, the 49 of Frank Jockman.
And Tom Plazinski starting 15th.
Starting 16th tonight, the number 3 of Hal Beardworth.
And Jeff Krause starting in 17th.
And an 18th spot, Howard Pittman in the 28th.
They call him the counselor, the 34, Joe DePino starting 19th.
In 20th position, the number 20 of Scott Collins.
And Steve Rosner starting 21st.
Starting 22nd, the 15 of Brian Pace.
Don Klein starting 23rd.
Starting 24th, the 21 of Tony Bowling.
Jerry Hinkle starting 25th tonight.
Starting 24th, the 24 of Ernie Diofonso.
Shotgun on the field tonight in 27th position, the 60 car of Ed Williams, and we are set to go racing here at Richmond. Kevin Brent out here in front, Tracy, Kyle Lent, and I'll tell you what, we were looking at some statistics coming from past races here. Kevin Brent is absolutely one of the guys that we are going to keep an eye on as we get the green flag here at Richmond. Kyle Lent up on the outside. Brent's getting a pretty good jump on Lent. Samato holding his own right here on the bottom, cycling around here into third. James Greegate. James Greegate came out of Grundy Speedway this year, guys, for the first time in his career racing as Rookie of the Year. So look to see good things out of James Greegate this season.
Yeah, I tell you what, James Greegate, said he was going to start concentrating on his online racing when he wasn't racing out there at Grundy Speedway, and I think that time of year is here. But I tell you what, we got things. It'd be interesting to see them guys work their way forward, JD.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll tell you what, good to be back in the booth here tonight. Of course, so we're doing things a little bit differently this season, the pre-race show. Hope everybody enjoyed that. It was fun to have Dan White, Season 2 championship driver, in the booth with us for a little bit of an interview there. But I'll tell you what, other good things coming our way too is we are testing out some new equipment here at ETV. I'll tell you what, John Wessling, I got to apologize to you. I forgot to mention your name during the credits at the beginning of the show, but certainly John Wessling on the cameras tonight, as always, producer for ETV.
Well, thanks, JD Webb. We're always trying new stuff here at ETV, and you've been on me for, I don't know, at least 2 to 3 years to go Flash, so we are now Flash now. We're giving it a shot here, see how this works out. Should be some really high-definition looking replays, so I've been doing a little bit of testing. These things are going to look sharp.
Hey, you bet. And, you know, for those of you who are watching it live, you'll notice up in the upper right-hand corner, Ustream. We're using the Ustream servers up there, so you're going to get a commercial every now and again that automatically play from Ustream. But I'll tell you what, you want to watch the race commercial-free without the Ustream commercials, you want to catch it on ETV. Gosh, am I going to say this right? It's been a couple of weeks now. ETV-eplay.net. And but we'll go into that here in a little bit. The racing out here so far been pretty much single file, guys. Not a whole lot of moving around, ducking around here. 150 laps here at Richmond tonight. But I'll tell you what, Chris Melton getting pretty gamey out here alongside Steven Spieth up on the outside back here in 12th position. Spieth out there in front of him. Melton probably taking a look, but decides the better of it and stays put for now.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, these guys are running a heck of a pace out there right now. Nobody's really gaining any spots in me or even gaining a time. That's just telling you how hard they're pushing these cars early in this race, which when we talked to Dan White talking about Richmond, how hot you can get those tires by pushing them hard. But tell you what, it looks like to me, if you don't push your car hard at the beginning as he takes a position from Jason Riddle, you ain't going to stay up with the group, and it's going to take you a while to catch back up to them guys, JD.
Yeah, you got that right. And tell you what, glancing over here in the chat room, we don't want to forget about that. Halls on Post sponsors the chat room here on Monday and Wednesday nights here at the Nation. I want to say good evening to Nicole Griegate over there, Rick Crawford joining us tonight, and Angela Hall from Halls on Post team over there joining us in the chat here tonight. Good evening, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. I hope you enjoyed the pre-race show. But I'll tell you what, Steven Spieth behind Chris Wilson back here in 11th position. Almost looks like you're putting a bumper to Wilson. Wilson last season duking it out with Jason Riddle. Jason Riddle finally gets the championship after Chris Wilson's last 3 races, Tracy, where Chris had some real difficulty with his car. Actually, his engines.
Yeah, Chris Wilson had some issues last year. Hopefully that team, the funny part is, you know, Jason Riddle is running the same engine from the same team. Didn't find the issues that Chris Wilson ran into, but during that road course, we did talk to him, and he thought that maybe his downshifting was a little too aggressive, turning a little too many RPMs when he's downshifting. But I tell you, we've got a great racing going here right now, JD. Everybody's running nice and clean. Nobody's getting into each other. I tell you what, I've seen a few people get close, but really good racing. Everybody's being real respectful out here and running good lines, JD.
Yeah, James Griegate going around Kyle Lent here just a little bit ago. That's going to put Brent, Griegate, and Lent 1, 2, and 3 here. But you know what? Dan White coming back from a season off, and you heard him during the pre-race show, working with David Hooten, and some positive experiences coming out of that. Hopefully we'll get a shot at David Hooten, possibly on Wednesday night when we come back to the team series. We'll try to get David Hooten up in the booth and ask him how that went. But for now, Dan White running 4th, and last season's championship driver Jason Riddle running in 5th.
Yeah, and if you take a look up front there, JD, the 7 of James Griegate got around the 16 of Kyle Lent to take over that 2nd position. As our leaders are starting to get up to lap traffic, the 20 of Scott Collins' car is just not handling very good. The leaders have got to him, going to be putting him a lap down here. He moved up the track, gave them guys plenty of room to race, but I tell you what, James Griegate is trying to get around that 42, JD.
Yeah, he is. I don't know if he took lessons from Dan White or what, but I'll tell you what. Whoa, Kevin Brent just gets absolutely sideways, guys. That might even be worth a second look, but I'll tell you what, that's going to give James Greegate the shot at the bottom here that he's been looking for. And I'll tell you, Kevin Brent's almost lost it back there on turn 3, guys. So I got to tell you, loose conditions coming around. Remember, Dan White was telling us he thought the setups might get a little bit loose around 20 laps. We're 17 laps into it right now, 150 laps here at Richmond tonight, guys.
Tell you what, JD, our cameraman was right on it, weren't you, John?
We don't miss much here at ETV, guys. Lots of training. Over 250 broadcasts. We know how to find all the action, don't we, boys?
That's right.
I'll tell you what.
Up here in front, JD. Kevin Brent is right over the back, all over the back of the 7 car again, and Dan White, he's kind of getting up to that group, gonna kind of hang around behind them, see what kind of fall off. I tell you what. At the beginning of this race, it looked like they were running a pretty fast pace, JD.
Yeah, you know, as Kyle Link gets down on the apron, manages to save it, gets back up on the track, that's going to give Dan White the opportunity down here on the bottom. As he gets side by side, contact with the door of the 16 there, Kyle Link going to give him the spot here. Kyle Link got to gather it back up here after a little oopsie daisy down there on the apron. But I'll tell you what, Dan White, you know, in the first 20 laps or so, he likes to be absolutely out in front, and he's working on it right now.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, I'm just watching the 55 of Dwayne Hall. He's working his way forward. He just laid the chrome horn to the 22 of Frankie Simano a little bit there and moved him up out of the way. Whoa, Chris Wilson just about got loose and lost it to JD, trying to get around the 22 of Frankie Simano as the 96 of Jason Riddle just come bursting through that group. I'm not too sure what happened back there. Maybe Frankie got a little loose, JD.
Yeah, it looked like when the 96 came by, he made contact with the 22 machine there just a little bit. Kind of knocked him sideways just a little bit. Samato able to get it back, but Samato, as he door slams with the 99 of Steven Spieth. Samato got to be having some handling problems here as Steven Spieth, the 27 of Mulligan, and of course Chris Wilson get by him, but. I believe we have our first caution out for the night here at Richmond, guys. I'm cycling around trying to pick it up. I'm not quite sure who it was, though.
I'm hearing this Chris Melton there. He's going to come out of the turn, just get super loose. Like I just pulled back and watched Chris Wilson. But Chris Wilson saved his Melton. He just barely backs it into the inside wall, guys. It's going to take a little bit of damage. He almost had that thing backed off there, and it snapped at the last minute.
All right, and the first caution coming out on lap 24 here at Richmond. 78, Chris Milton having a rough go at it. But you know what, Tracy, we did hear from Dan White during the interview. He said about lap 20 or so, cars are going to start getting loose. It almost looked like that's what happened to Chris Milton coming off the turn there.
Yeah, we got our first caution there, lap 23, and that's exactly it. The same corner he said that you start getting loose off of. And I'll tell you what, that's from getting that right rear hot. Gets a little loose and a little slippery. I tell you what, every time I've raced this track, that's the corner that you see spins on, JD.
You bet. As everybody, looks like everybody's coming down pit road. Of course, they all want to get those qualifying tires off and get some stickers back on them. And I think possibly, these guys might be looking at some scuff tires too. But first caution of the night coming out on lap 23. And I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and cut away. We'll take a quick commercial break here. You're watching live, ETV Live. It's the only choice. The Halls on Post Monday Night Pro Series. We'll be right back.
You're watching ETV Live, the leader in sim broadcasting. The very best in the business brings you the highest in broadcast quality with superior audio and instant replay by the exclusive ETV Rewind machine. Follow the live action with producer John Wessing and commentators Sean Bickle, David Bass, J.D. Webb, Jerry Wolf, and more. And don't miss the pre-race entertainment by the ETV Live Band.
Broadcasting live 4 nights a week from RaceSimNation.com.
Have some fun with the broadcast team in the ETV chat room and listen to a live race scanner. And remember, ETV Live, the leader in sim broadcasting. It's the only choice.
All right, and we are back live here. A little picture-in-picture. You're going to see the action all night tonight. Okay, and I'll tell you what, commercials will be running down there in the lower right-hand screen. But to tell you, ETV, the only choice here at the Nation, broadcasting on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. Tuesday night, you want to catch the truck races, the iRacing truck races, and David Bass and Jesse the Outlaw James. Here on ETV, and then on Wednesday nights, of course, it's the MTCO.com. Team Racing Series will be getting started this coming Wednesday at Chicago. Looking forward to that race this week, Tracy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Kevin Brent's won the race out of pit lane, guys, and the 16 of Kyle Lent got caught for speeding at pit road as we take the green flag.
All right, back green again as Brent's out there in front. He's got James Greegate chasing him down once again, but James Greegate's getting alongside. Door slams the 42. 42 goes high. James Greegate's going to get the bottom here and the lead. I'll tell you what, that's exactly what I saw him do up at Grundy Speedway here a few weeks back, guys. But James Greegate, current leader. Kevin Brent's moves into second. Dwayne Hall moving into third. Dan White still sitting back there watching all that happen out in front of him. And last year's champion driver from the Halls on Post Pro Series, Jason Riddle, still running in the top 5, guys.
I tell you, they're having a great race up there. Watch Dwayne Hall get 2 tires down that apron by mid-entrance. Tell you what, that can upset your car and really get you kind of squirrely. But I've been watching Dwayne Hall. He's been on a mission to get up front there. He's not afraid to use that front bumper to move a guy up the hill, just like James Greegate did to the 42 to take the lead, JD.
I'll tell you what, James Greegate putting almost, a little better than half a second, about 7/10 of a second already on that 42 machine already. So I'll tell you what, James Greegate hooked up and on the go tonight here at Richmond. But you're right about Dwayne Hall. I'll tell you what, Dwayne Hall's on a mission, but so is that Dan White, still running in 4th place here at Richmond. I'll tell you what, probably spent the first 23 laps or so up to that caution, just kind of feeling things out. But I'll tell you what, look for Dan White to keep it moving forward.
Wait a minute here, JD. I thought the doctor told Dwayne Hall to park that car this season, that 55 car, and it just came to me, he's out on the track.
Well, I don't know. You get to a point in your life and you really do what the doctor tells you to do anyway. I'll tell you what, Dwayne Hall, that 55 machine, pulling right up on Kevin Brent's out here. Kevin Brent's may be having some handling issues here, guys. Pole sitter tonight here at Richmond. Kevin Brent's has won twice here in the 2011 season. And Tracy, the one thing we haven't talked about yet is the caution average here. A little bit on the high side. Looking back at the 3 times that we've been here before, we're going to call it at 7 cautions. So we've already had caution number 1, came out on lap 23, 78, Chris Melton involved in that one, possibly loose conditions on his car.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we got the same average for lead changes right around 7 per race too there, JD. But I tell you what, I've been kind of looking back here, and I see Kyle Lentz came in the back, but yellow flag came out here, and I see a bunch of cars spinning around back here. I see that the 27, the 3, and 21 are all involved, guys.
Yeah, I see. Boy, yeah, you're right. Just a whole bunch of them. Looks like Larry Mulliken going around on his own here. Might have to roll it back here just a little further. Look, Larry Mulliken might have started this whole thing. Larry Mulliken goes around, coming off the turn, and then some evasive action taking place, and Beardsley just plows right into him, John. Broadside.
See if we can cue this up, and I think you're right. I had to pull it back just a little bit further. Mulliken's going to get really, really loose coming off that corner. He almost hit the safer barrier. He had to back out of here. couple cars make it through, but the stick, this blah 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 blah. The smoke is so thick here, Beardworth doesn't even see him, and he just waylays him. Not the way Beardworth wanted to start his season. I believe he started last season about the same way here, but Beardworth's going to come out here and just wipe that 27 clock.
Lead cars only. Lead cars only.
Damage to the front end of his car. And I'll tell you what, I think the 27 car is probably going to be done for the night. I saw a lot of black smoke coming off of that machine. But actually, it looks like the number 3 of Beardworth, might have been the 3 car, Tracy, I think has put it up on the hauler for the night.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was a heck of a crash out there, guys. Beardworth had nowhere to go coming through that thick smoke. He got hit in the back end, and then Tony Bolin got into that car. It looked like the 22 of Frankie Smano. But, yeah, too much damage in the front end, took the radiator out.
Okay,
motor wouldn't even turn over, JD, so he's pretty much out of the race for tonight.
All right, caution number 2. You know, I don't know, maybe that's a jinx talking about these caution averages or not. I have no idea, but I'll tell you what, we were just talking about the caution average here at Richmond. It's going to be 7 for the night. We'll call it at that, and that's based off 2011 statistics. We've been here 3 times, and I'll tell you the worst one was on January 13th of this year, 11 cautions here at Richmond. So I tell you what, not looking forward to the caution count here tonight, but I tell you, loose conditions do exist out there, and I think we're seeing the results of it.
Yeah, I tell you what, we might as well change the name of 2 to Whirlpool, because that's where all the spins are, JD.
Yeah, Whirlpool. Well, I'll tell you what, 39 laps in the books here at Richmond, a whole lot of racing left to go here, so we're going to go ahead and take another commercial break, but you won't miss any of the action at all, and of course you're watching it live right here on ETV. It's the only choice, so I'll tell you what, we'll take this commercial break and then bring you the live action right afterwards, so stay tuned. All right, we are back live under green. I'll tell you what, you saw the action from the restart there. Kevin Brents gets overtaken by that number 7, James Greegate, one more time here. I'll tell you what, Greegate has just absolutely got it hooked up here tonight. I'll tell you what, I was checking over here in the chat room just a minute ago during the commercial break here, Tracy, and Angela Hall down there saying the 55 machine is getting a little rowdy tonight.
Oh, yeah, I've been watching them. I tell you what, I said, old Dwayne, he's on the wheel tonight. He's not worried about giving a little bit of that chrome horn to the guy in front of him if he needs to get around him if they're holding him up. But tell you what, James Greegate just on a tear right now. But you know what, at the same time, I'm wondering if James ain't running that car maybe a tad too hard, and maybe Kevin Brenton is going to settle back, save his tires for the long run, JD.
Yeah, you could be right there. I'll tell you what, shades of Grundy Speedway up there in Illinois. James Greegate getting the 2011 Rookie of the Year up there. First time out in a race car up there, so I'll tell you what, congratulations to that young man. But moving back through the field here, pretty much single file all the way back. Roger Haygood, a newcomer this season in the Monday Night Series, running that eBay Motors number 47 machine out there, looking pretty decent out here in 9th position, up there in the top 10. And moving on behind him, Danny Gabaldon. I believe Danny was 3rd place or 4th place last season in the Pro Series. I believe he was 3rd place finisher last season. Chris Wilson, of course, duking it out with Jason Riddle. Chris Wilson finishing 2nd. Jason Riddle, your champion from last season. Jason's still hanging out there in the top 5, guys.
Yeah, I tell you what, for everybody to know, that 20th, Scott Collins, he's back on the lead lap. He got a lap there on that first run, but he got the lucky dog on that first caution, so he's been kind of hanging around, still in the lead lap. And I'm looking up here, and I tell you what, the damage to Tony Boland's car can't be too bad. He's been racing his way forward. Kyle Lentz is working his way forward too. These guys are still pushing them cars pretty hard, and see if they can't get back to their front, JD.
Yeah, Tom Plazinski back here in 19th place, guys. 20th now. Frankie Simonto comes by him on the bottom. Tom looked like he's having some handling issues here. He's been pretty much staying up in that top lane from the get-go as he cuts down in behind the 15 of Brian Pace here. But Tom Plazinski going backwards here just a little bit. You know what? On the other hand, 49 laps, we'll call it 50 laps into this thing, 100 laps left to go. Still a lot of racing. Tom Plazinski probably hanging on to his tires here just a little bit. But I'll tell you what, not a whole lot of action going on out here. Like we said, a whole lot of racing still going on. But on the hauler and headed for the barn tonight, Steve Rosner in that 38 machine, guys, along with Hal Beardsworth with the engine damage, of course, coming off that caution on lap 37 with Larry Mulliken. But I'll tell you what, other than that, you want to watch this race again, you need to get over to etv-eplay.net. And I'll tell you what, they are looking absolutely fantastic now that we have switched streaming servers. We're actually doing this off of Ustream tonight. I want to remind everybody that you will get a commercial or two to pop up. We can't help that. But I'll tell you what, you want to watch it without those commercials off of Ustream, you want to go to etv-eplay.net. Get your 99-cent downloads over there, or you can put $10 in there and get 15 of them all in one whack. And I'll tell you what, ain't nothing better than to sit down and watch these replays on a Sunday afternoon. Coronas and corn dogs, as we like to say. Have an ETV party, etv-eplay.net. Tracy, you know what? One thing we haven't talked about tonight are the power rankings that Jody Johnson put up. And I'll tell you, we talked about it a little bit pre-race. We had Jody in the booth just a little bit while we were putting things together. But Kevin Brent's, Jody's got Kevin Brent's named as number one here at Richmond. Of course, I would agree with that. Kevin's got 2 wins here back-to-back. And I tell you what, Kevin Brent's putting on a pretty decent show here tonight.
Yeah, Kevin Brent's been doing a great job keeping that car. He has not been any worse than second place. Staying right with James Greegate right now, just kind of hanging on him. There's a lot of racing to go. Possibly thinking maybe James might burn off his tires, give him a chance to get by him. Tell you what, can't complain about Kevin Brent's being the top tonight, JD.
You bet. And then sitting in the second spot here, Jody's power rankings, Chris Wilson. We saw Chris Wilson last season duke it out with Jason Riddle. And I'll tell you what, Chris Wilson pretty much occupied the top seat all season long, predominantly. And I'll tell you, Chris Wilson having some engine problems near the end of the season set him back and finished second behind Jason Riddle. But I'll tell you what, Chris Wilson's got 1 win here at Richmond. He's also got a top 5 finish here, too.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's moving his way forward there, JD. It looked like he took care of his tires. Chris Wilson is running in 5th position right now. But I tell you what, when he made up his rankings there, I know we were talking to Jody, he didn't realize that the old wily guy, Dan White, was going to be racing tonight. Otherwise, his rankings would change. But yeah, you know what? No problem. Put Chris Wilson up there in the top 3 to 4. Does a great job out here and usually takes care of his car, JD.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll tell you what, we'll get to the other power rankings here just a little bit. But out here on the track, the action still continues out here with James Greegate out in front, but not quite as far out in front as he was on the last restart. Kevin Brent still trying to run him down, almost making contact with the bumper there, but Brent's looking down here on the bottom on the inside of James Greegate, going to try to hold that line. Just can't get the job done. Back here in second place or third place rather, is Dwayne Hall, that 55 machine. And I'll tell you what, like I said before, looking over in the chat room over there, Angela Hall saying about her husband that he's getting a little bit rowdy here at Richmond here tonight. I'll tell you what, he worked over the bumper of the 22 machine and got himself out there in front. But game ain't over yet. 61 laps in the books, Tracy. We've got a lot of racing left to do here at Richmond.
Yeah, I tell you, the 96 of Jason Riddle was able to get his way around the number 4 car, and I tell you what, I just watched heading off into corner 1 there. Somebody out there has a little bit of a smoking issue, possibly car overheating, but I tell you what, doing a great job. Looks like it's Jason Riddle is now looking under Dwayne Hall, so he'll be looking to get freight trained here by everybody there. Yeah, the 52 gets around coming out too, guys.
All right, does caution number 3 comes out.
Okay, just keep the yellow.
And we'll cycle around here and try to pick that one up.
I heard it was the 52 at Don Klein, JD. We'll see what happens here. They're coming across the front stretch. He's right behind Chris Wilson. He's been having a pretty solid night all night here. He's going to come through the center of 1 and 2 here, and he's just going to get loose on his own. Really no pressure from anybody on either side. He's just going to lose it here all on his own. Back into the outside wall, right at the safer barrier. Going to come back across the inside and miss the inside wall, thank goodness. But he is carrying that American flag on the roof of that car, guys.
You bet. There's another loose condition out here on turn 2. I'll tell you what, Tracy, he seems to be getting them all here tonight.
Yeah, the Whirlpool jumping up and grabbing hold of these guys, and that's usually the corner that you go through that corner and you start to come off. Your car feels good, and I tell you what, it's not something that you are ready for. It just snaps loose on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. It just goes around, JD.
Yeah, something else I saw. I caught it off the corner of my eye up here. I'm trying to get to it. Dwayne Hall, as I was looking at Don Klein, I saw Dwayne Hall up against the wall up there. Not sure if he got caught up in any of that or what the deal was with the 55 car. But trying to run this replay back here just a little bit and see what the 55 was doing up there.
I'm not sure what happened, guys. He went to the outside and half the field just came around. In fact, he missed on Klein. It looked like, I don't know if his car was just going away. It was right before the caution. He went to the high side, let Riddle go, and about 4 cars after that, and really no significant damage on that 55 Halls on post machine.
All right, as they make their way out of pit road, maybe we can catch up with Dwayne Hall if we have another caution and get a live report from him. But I'll tell you what, caution number 3 coming out here at Richmond, lap 63-52. Don Klein just getting loose off turn 2, guys. And I'll tell you, turn 2 seems to just be biting them all tonight.
Yeah, our favorite turn 2. That's where you'll get loose, get that raver tire hot as Dan was talking to us, and that's where you'll come around. And hopefully these guys will get a nice long run again, and we'll get past halfway point next time, JD.
You bet, as we stay with the action here on ETV Live. I'll tell you what, once again, we're broadcasting through the Ustream servers. So those of you joining us here tonight, watching it live, you'll have to put up with the periodic commercials that appear off of the Ustream. But I'll tell you what, it's an outstanding looking picture tonight from Richmond. One of the better pictures that I've seen being broadcast on ETV in a long time. But I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen the replays yet, I've seen the one replay from the truck series here about a week ago, and I'll tell you what, outstanding looking picture. I mean, it's almost like you're right there watching the action live, almost like looking at an HD screen on your television set. But I'll tell you what, we get ETV rolling here. Of course, we're always in beta test, like John says, and we get this flash server up and running. Hey, it's just bigger and better stuff that we present to you from ETV Live, John.
Yeah, we're just beginning, JD, as normal. You always hear me say. I mean, we never stop working here at ETV, and a lot of guys behind the scenes testing, rebuilding websites and stream pages and overlays. The work never stops here. I always crack my whip a little too hard, I think, but no one ever runs away, JD, so it must not be that bad.
Well, I'll tell you what, we do have a lot of fun here in the booth, and then, of course, behind the scenes, the stuff that takes place during the week, putting all the shows together and everything else as we get set to take the green flag once again. Kevin Brent's out in front, Chris Wilson, Steven Spieth, Dan White, and Jason Riddle make up your top 5. Ernie D'Alfonso working his way forward, Tracy, as we get the green flag. Back to racing one more time.
I tell you what a heck of a pit stop. Chris Wilson all the way up to second place, JD. Where did that come from? And also the 99 of Steve Spieth up there in third place, guys. I tell you what, a great pit stop from those guys. My only guess is the 2 tires on those 2 cars, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to guess too. Is I'll tell you what, Chris Wilson, Dan White, and Jason Riddle. I mean, a lot of guys that we were looking at in the statistics, they're already up in front. Of course, Kevin Brent, Larry Mulliken, Tony Bowling, Dwayne Hall, and Chris Wilson. Those are the 5 guys that we were talking about during the pre-race show, Tracy, guys to keep an eye on. So we've got about 3 or 4 out of those 5 already up there. 21, Tony Bowling running back here in 7th position, guys. Tony being caught up, got caught up in that caution on lap 37 with Mulliken. And I'll tell you what, the boys did a pretty decent job hammering the sheet metal back out on that one as we get some racing action happening up in front of him. James Greegate and the 96 Jason Riddle going after it.
And tell you what, you got that 24 of Ernie D'Alfonso running in 9th place. The 10th spot tonight right now is a 77 of Jason Krause. Tell you what, great job for him working his way forward. And tell you what, we got some guys moving forward that have been running the back now, JD. Maybe going to start pushing the cars harder as we get farther in this race.
Hey, bet 73 laps in the books here at Richmond International Raceway. And, somebody else that we haven't mentioned yet joining us in the booth this season, kind of on a part-time basis, team owner of Dragon Motorsports, Wendy Bernard. Glad to have her aboard. And I'll tell you what, I've been talking to her son David Bass from DB Tech Services, the whole Dragon Motorsports team. They're just having an absolute blast with her out in practice sessions with them. They've got their own little server that they're working on, practicing on, and she's got like 1,000 laps under her belt at Chicago, Tracy.
Wow, that's a lot of laps put on one single track there, JD. But I did hear a rumor that she wasn't too fond of one other track. I think it was Michigan.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, you ask her about Michigan is like asking Jerry about Pocono. But I tell you what, she's looking good out there, and I think David's working on her, trying to get her into one of the Saturday or Sunday night races here at the Nation. So look forward to seeing that 82 machine out there on the track one of these days. But I tell you, back out here on this track, Richmond, keeping an eye on things here. I was just watching the 33 of Jerry Hinkle. Looks like he's getting just a little bit loose, of course. So we just came off of pit stops here about 10 laps ago, about 12, 13 laps ago. So I can't believe that tires were worn out that quickly. But, one of the guys we keep watching here is James Greegate. James Greegate having a kind of a poor season last season. I really don't want to badmouth him too much here. He did get the Rookie of the Year up at Grundy, and I know he was concentrating all of his efforts on that. And, he did sit at the top of the pile here for a very short time in the Pro Series last season, but, with 3 in a row. But then, started going downhill. But, of course, the downhill, blame it on that other number 7 car that he was running up there at Grundy Speedway.
Yeah, sometimes other things will take your mind and your practice time away. But I tell you what, Kyle Lind is just working his way forward. He got around the 21 of Tony Bowling and also the 99 of Steve Spieth. And tell you what, I think Tony's damage might be affecting him now. He was moving forward pretty good there. Now he's kind of stalled out there a little bit, JD.
Yeah, he's just working his way past the 99, or at least trying to, here comes Ernie D'Alfonso on the bottom behind Tony Bowling. He's got the 99 up there on the top. So Ernie D'Alfonso probably a little bit faster than Tony. Tony's suffering with a damaged car a little bit, but Ernie stays on the bottom down here. Going to try to get 2 of them. Can't get it done as Tony holds his line and stays out in front of Ernie D'Alfonso here, guys.
Yeah, I'm watching up here. Kevin Brent's just running some nice laps. Got Chris Wilson following back behind him about 2 or 3 car lengths. Then in third place, you got Dan White. He's running about 2 car lengths behind that number 84 of Chris Wilson. And then you got James Greegate at 7. He's trying to get his way back up to that top group. Looks like he's running about 7 cars back behind him, JD. You
bet. And I think I know we had a little bit of hiccup here right when we got to racing there. Ernie D'Alfonso, I think, qualified in the back or started in the back, guys, I want to say. I don't show him listed on the 24 that qualified. I know we've got 27 cars on the track. So I got to say that Ernie D'Alfonso had to have started in the back of the field tonight. But I'll tell you what, up to 8th position, inside the top 10 for that 24 machine. Strong showing here at Richmond for that 24 of Ernie D'Alfonso, guys.
Yeah, Ernie was a little late getting to the driver's meeting, JD. And you know what happens, you miss the driver's meeting, you get put to the back of the pack. That's kind of your penalty for not being there. He started in the back, but tell you what, he has a great car. Slowly working his way forward. Tell you what, Dwayne Hall just got in the back of the 66 speed coming through 3 and 4 there. Kind of bumped his car right up in the air, and but they're all still going straight.
As he gets by the 47 car down there on the bottom, but the 3 wide going through turn 4 here, guys, coming down the front stretch. Roger Haygood sticks to it on the bottom down there. Dwayne Hall forced to stay up in that upper lane up there. But I wonder, since Angela says he's getting a little rowdy tonight, I wonder if she's standing by with that syringe again.
Tell you what, the 77 Jason Krause, he's the one that kind of paid the price when 47 jumped into 55. He was the 3rd car up in that lane, and he was right up against that wall. Got some that old tire balls on his tires. Car really got loose on him up top, and I tell you what, time he got it cleaned up, everybody got by him, including the 62 of Danny Gabalden.
You bet. And I tell you what, let's move all the way back here to 24th position back here. Larry Mulliken, of course. Larry heavily involved in that caution on lap 37, guys, with the 21 machine and the 3 car of Hal Beardsworth. But Larry Mulliken holding his own back here in 24th position, not really going anywhere. But I'll tell you what, just looking to burn the laps up, 1 lap down here. So if the lucky dog comes out, he'll be the one to get it.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm pretty sure he's hoping for one so he can get back in the lead lap. But I'm really not too sure if he has the car to make much of a difference. Tom Pajinski is pretty much running the same pace as he is. But Tom is noted for a lot of times kind of hanging back, saving his tire, hoping for that long run to maybe come back and get them guys by the end of the fuel tank. But tell you what, Larry Mulliken right now, it looks like he's struggling out there, JD.
Yeah, and just move it up here a little bit further. They call him the counselor, Joe DePino, in that number 34 machine, PBR. And up in front of him, Don Klein and Brian Pace up here. Don Klein just came whizzing past the 34 Joe DePino a little bit ago and managed to get Brian Pace at the same time. So Don Klein in that 52 machine moving forward here tonight, too.
Tell you what, we're getting a nice long run here, JD. I just took a look at the laps. We're at lap 92 out of 150. Tell you what, we're hitting about that right around 20 to 25 laps on these tires. So we'll see what happens, see if everybody keep control of these cars for a few laps coming out of the corner, too. Yeah, but you know what, we might as well just plant a camera down there on turn 2. But you're absolutely right, 63 laps was our last pit stop, so we're a good long ways into it. Looking over here in the chat room, I want to say hello to Rick Crawford and Kevin Franks over there. Of course, we all know who Kevin Franks is. Rick Crawford, I've seen that name around here somewhere before, too. But it's good to see those guys over there in the chat room. Yeah, I tell you who's moving forward right now still, JD. That 16 of Kyle Lind. As he got around the 96 of Jason Riddle, I think he's pretty much wore the goodie off them tires. As Kyle Lind, I mean, he got by him and he put several car lengths on him pretty fast, JD. You bet. And I'll tell you what, Kyle Lent working for, I believe he's working for Halls on Post racing team now. We'll get into more of that during the pre-race show on Wednesday night, and you do not want to miss that action. This coming Wednesday we'll be at Chicago with the MTCO.com Team Racing Series, race number 1. And some shake-ups, some new teams, some new names, and we'll tell you all about it during the pre-race activities on Wednesday night. You want to tune in about 8:40 p.m. or so
and catch all the action live there on ETV Live. Jerry Wolf will be there. Me and Tracy will be there. And maybe we'll even have a chat with Wendy Bernard, kind of a newcomer up here in the booth with us and during the pre-race activities. But she'll have her hands full with the Dragon Motorsports team on Wednesday night for sure. But I tell you what, back out here on the track, it was the James Greegate show up here earlier. But I tell you what, he's back to clear off, sitting in the top 5, running 4th. As the caution comes out for the 4th time here, guys.
Yeah, I pulled that back, and it looked like the 34 Joe DiPino was right about on the mark that Tracy said we would, 20, 25 laps, when these cars really start to get greasy out here. And that's exactly what happened to that 34 machine of Joe DiPino.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, turn 2 just seems to be taking a toll here tonight. And remember, we're working on a caution average of about 7 cautions here at Richmond. But I'll tell you what, 4th caution for the night tonight, 98 laps in the books already. So a couple more laps, and we'll only have about 50 of them left, Tracy.
Yeah, 50 laps left, and if the Brown 20-25 laps in the tires, and then we hit the whirlpool, keeps happening, we're going to be one caution short of the 7 caution average, JD.
Yeah, about every 20 laps or so. But I tell you, well, actually the first 2 came about a little better than 10 laps apart. But I tell you what, 7 average here at Richmond, probably not all that bad since one race that they did have back in January, Tracy, they had 11 cautions, so and that took out a number of cars, almost 25% of the field. But I tell you what, these boys know how to get the job done and do it right. So right now we're sitting at 4 cautions, so still some pretty decent racing going on out there tonight. But I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and step away. We'll take another commercial break right here. You won't miss anything out there on the track. You'll be watching it live, so stay put. But you're watching it on ETV Live. Hey, it's the only choice. The Halls on Post Monday night series. You don't want to go away.
MTCO Communications, dude, I'll tell you what, the only place to get your gaming servers, no contract, month to month. Get gaming tonight with Battlefield 2. Hey, Call of Duty, do it with R-Factor, Arca Sim Racing, dude. I'll tell you what, $49 a month, no better deal anywhere. Remote access, virus filters, remote power cycle, no player limit, no bandwidth, dude. Dedicated servers. Hey, do it tonight. Give them a call, 800-859-6826.
All right, MTCO gaming servers. I'll tell you what, dude, $49 a month, cowboy. There ain't no better deal than that. No contracts, no BS, no nothing. Contact Jerry Wolf over there at mtco.com, and he will hook you up. But I tell you what, Kevin Brent's putting out a pretty decent show out here, Tracy. I tell you, he's got 2 wins here, so he's making it look pretty darn simple. But then we were looking at Larry Mulligan, Tony Bowling, Dwayne Hall. Of course, Dwayne Hall's been up there in the top 5 pretty much all night, giving people fits. He'll be restarting 12th on this time around. But and then Chris Wilson, been keeping an eye on him too at Richmond.
Yeah, you got Chris Wilson running right up there in second, JD. But I tell you, what a race off pit road. We had front 2 cars side by side, and right behind them 3 cars all racing for that position. What a great race off pit road. There's 5 cars you could throw a blanket under. Over.
All right. Another one we need to talk about here just briefly, too, is the 22 machine, Frankie Simonto. Frankie qualified, I believe, 3rd here tonight, and was looking pretty good. Got hooked up with Dwayne Hall up there a little bit, got bumper banged as we get the green flag here and restart. Frankie Simonto, 5th place in the overall last season at the Halls on Post Pro Series here on Monday nights. As we get to racing one more time. And I'll tell you what, Kevin Brent, Chris Wilson, Dan White, Jason Riddle, and James Greegate, there's the 5 guys that you would want on your team right there.
And I tell you what, they got Kyle Limp right there in 6th place, and Tony Bolin at 7. Then you got Chris Melton 8. I tell you what a group of people up there in that top 10. As we got a big checkup, and Kyle Link got caught up and got in the back of somebody. He got hit by, it looks like, Tony Bolin got in the back of him. Had him real loose. He saved that car. They all kept it going straight, but we almost had a big crash there, JD.
Yeah, you know what? And it's still happening out here in front. Tony Bowling and Kyle Lentz side by side coming into turn 3 and 4, or turn 1 and 2 here, coming down the backstretch here. I tell you, this ain't over yet. 105 laps in the books, guys. 45 of them more to go. As Kyle Lentz staying right with the 99 of Steven Spieth. We've got Chris Melton in the 78 machine up on the outside. But I tell you what, this game ain't over yet.
Yeah, these guys are really pushing. I mean, over 50 laps left. That's a long time to have to run in these tires, you know. So you'd think they would take care of these tires just in case they get a long, long run, JD.
Yeah, you'd think as Spieth finally gets past the 78 of Melton, and so does Kyle Lentz. Kyle Lentz down there on the bottom. But tell you what, putting Chris Melton behind here, and Jason, or I want to say his name is Jason Krause. Correct me up on that if I'm wrong here. Out here in the 77 machine behind him. Chris Wilson out in front, guys. I'll tell you what, are we going to see a repeat of season 3 here?
Tell you what, he got around that 42 of it, Kevin Brents, and it looks like he's doing everything he can to hold him back. Tell you what, the 7, James Greegay just got around that 4 of Dan White, moved himself forward, but I tell you what, I think Dan is going to probably try to save some tires a little bit in case it turns out to be a long run, JD.
Yeah, there you go. Trying to keep an eye on this chat room over here, too. It's hard for me, Angela, to read up and keep track on the action. The chat room's actually on a laptop over here on my left, so I got to turn my eyes, but I'm not quite sure. You might have to repeat yourself. Did I hear that? Did I hear what? But I see Jay Bunn is in the chat room over there too, and shame on you rooting for that number 7, dude. I figured he'd be rooting for that. I thought he'd be rooting for that. Yeah, go ahead.
That's kind of surprised that 37 of Jay Bunn ain't out here running tonight, guys.
Yeah. Where is Jay Bunn tonight? How come he's not listed on the qualifying list here?
Yeah, he couldn't pass the tech inspection tonight, guys. He pulled her down on the weights, and they said, nope, put her back on the hauler. He had to pull her away.
Go on a diet, Jay. That'll help.
I just seen the 99 of Steven Spieth disappear. A little electrical problem. Steven Spieth is now out of the race, guys.
Yeah, and a big change to the lead up here. Chris Wilson getting out of shape, up against the wall, gives it up 4 times here, guys, slipping back to 4th. Kevin Brent's back out in front. James Greegay chasing him down. Dan White staying right there in 3rd. But Chris Wilson, big mistake going into the turn, takes it wide. Looks like he might have got a piece of the wall too, guys. But Chris Wilson giving up the lead 3 times here.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's just how tough this track is, and the pace these guys have got to put up to keep those guys behind you. If you want to lead a few laps, just pushing these cars so hard really does a number to your tires, and if your setup's just a little off, or if you turn down a hair sooner catch that apron, it'll really make your car kind of go crazy on you, and you just got to chase it around and save it, and you'll lose quite a few spots in, JD.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, looking over here again, the Gold Greegate wants to know why shame on him for rooting for that number 7 car. I mean, geez, how many trophies does that number 7 car need anyway? And then of course, Angela says that Bunn said that there's more to life than just sim racing. Really?
There is.
There is.
Boy, I tell you what, as much as Jay will spend sim racing, he must have found a life here recently. Then maybe.
What web page is that on? I thought the only web page on the internet was racesimnation.com.
I thought there was only 2 things: work and sim racing.
You think? All right, it looks like Steven Spieth's going to call it a night here at Richmond, guys, pulling that machine behind the wall, up on the hauler, and like we say here on ETV, heading for the barn. 111 laps into this thing. I don't know, maybe we can get Steven Spieth on the horn here as he pulls his helmet and suit off and get him up here in the booth and see what took place. But hey, back out here on the track, it is the James Greegate Show. Looks like a repeat of Grundy Speedway up here, but hey, don't quit on that Kevin Brents just yet. I'll tell you what, Kevin Brents must have learned his lesson in that in the first section of the race, Tracy, when Greegate got the better of him and then put about a half a second, 0.7 of a second on him in that first set there, about 20 laps in. But I'll tell you what, Kevin Brents, he's got it together now, and he's staying right on the bumper of that number 7 machine.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's going to need to, because James last time he got up front, he just kind of inched his way away from Brent, sort of like Brent did here in the last run. He kind of moved his away from the group. But I think Kevin's made some adjustment. If you look, he's changed his line when he's following somebody. It seems like it's possibly making it a lot easier on his tires, JD.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll tell you what, moving all the way back to 14th, pretty much single file until you get back here to Roger Haygood. He's got the 62 of Gabaldon up on the outside. Danny Gabaldon, I believe he was the third place finisher last season in the Pro Series. Season 3, holding on to his own here is Roger Haygood, newcomer to the Monday Night Series here on the Halls on Prost. I keep wanting to say Pro Series, but they've changed that all around now. I guess I'm going to have to find that RaceSimNation.com and go in there and read the new rules. But Roger Haygood hanging on to his own out here, running in 14th here, guys. But pretty much single file. All the way around, looks like Frank Jockman trying to work around Danny Gabaldon. Danny must either be saving his tires here, which is probably the smart thing to do, or maybe he's having some handling problems. But Frank Jockman working over the 62 machine up here.
And guys, Brian Pace in that 15 car having a good solid run tonight. No accidents. I don't think I've seen him hit the wall. As he's side by side here with that 49 of Frank Jockman. And, yeah, Brian Pace in that 15 machine. Great run here by Brian Pace tonight.
Hey, bet he's got it hooked up and managed to get up past Frank Jockman. Jerry Hinkle down there on the bottom behind Jockman. And I tell you what, Jerry Hinkle hooking it up here, trying to stay with Brian Pace as both of them get past Frank Jockman back here. And then back behind them, Larry Mulliken giving it up to the 60 of Ed Williams. Side by side, coming off of turn 3 here, turn 4, coming down the front stretch. Larry Mulliken was one of the picks tonight. I tell you, looking for him to do something special here at Richmond. I don't think it's going to happen here tonight. Larry Mulliken involved in a caution on lap 37, heavily involved, in fact, with the 3-car and the 21 car, Tony Bowling and Hal Beersworth. But you bet, back out here in front, running in second now, going around Kevin Brents. Dan White looking for the lead up here. I'll tell you what, just lean on that horn just a little bit. Honk, honk, here I come, dude.
Yeah, I tell you what, Dan White, he's starting to smell that checkered flag is getting closer and closer with each succeeding lap. It's time now to put a little pressure on these guys in front of him. Like I said, I think he was partially saving his tires a little bit. But I tell you, Kevin Brents is right on the back of him there, JD. Not giving Dan White much space to work there.
Yeah, you bet. About 22 laps, 21 laps left to go in this thing here tonight. 150 laps here at Richmond, 129 in the books already. I'll tell you what, as far as Dan White's concerned, that's a lot of racing left. As he puts the chrome horn to the 7 car, I'll tell you what, look in your rearview mirror there, Greegate. Here comes the old man himself.
Yeah, I tell you what, he kind of pushed high going to that corner there, JD. The 42 of Brent kind of looked under him, but didn't have enough speed to get to him. So I tell you what, he's all over the back of that 7, just waiting for him to make a mistake or maybe possibly give him a little nudge, help him move up the lane there.
You bet. Talking to him during the pre-race show here, we listened to him tell us about, he doesn't really have a strategy coming into this thing. He was just a little, not real skeptical, not showing any fear, but, there are some new drivers here, some guys he hasn't raced here before. He did sit out a season, and these guys have gotten just a little bit quicker. So, he said a few things about that. Didn't quite know what to expect, but I'll tell you what, he's got it hooked up right now on lap 132 here at Richmond.
Yeah, they're doing a great job out there, JD. Tell you what, just staying right there on that 7. like I said, just waiting for him to make a mistake. We got plenty of laps. I tell you what, we're getting pretty dang close to that 25 lap mark on these tires, so hopefully these guys may have tightened it up. The 84 Chris Wilson just a lap ago was pretty close, getting close to them guys, but it seems like he fell off a little bit there, JD.
Yeah, Chris Wilson now almost a second and a half behind the leaders here, guys. We'll call it 1.3 seconds behind. And Kyle Lent getting past Chris Wilson up here, too. 134 laps in the books here. I'll tell you what, just a handful of them left. Kyle Lent starting to pour it on here late in the race.
I'll tell you what, 96 of Jason Riddle seemed to be sliding back as we carted around Dan White. Jeez.
Dan White going around here at Richmond. Boy, that was unexpected. We've got to pull that one up and roll it back. Dan White going around, and sound like John might have caught that one right off the cuff here. Bad boy John Westling. We got it picked up on the replay.
Yeah, these guys were battling really hard. It was just a matter of time for somebody got that right rear just a little too hot. In fact, Dan White's going to make a move on Greegate. These two are going to make contact coming into 3 here, guys. Dan White, he's going to get loose underneath Greegate as he was trying to make the pass. Brent's barely missing all this action here. Dan White was sliding up.
Wow. Yeah,
wow.
Tell you what, you get into somebody's rear quarter right there where Dan gets into him, and it's surprising that sometimes it doesn't get that car in front of you loose. It gets you loose because you're trying so hard to stay off him and kind of on the brakes that, yeah, right there your car gets loose. But tell you what a heck of a dive to try to get under Greegate at that moment, JD.
Hey, but sitting there watching this replay again, and it just looks like he just takes it into the turn just a little bit too deep. But then Greegate doing his job, holding him down here on the bottom, not giving that poor machine, Dan White, an inch out here on the track in that turn. So I'll tell you what, they're just duking it out here, and we'll just call that a racing deal.
Yeah, tell you what, though, unfortunately, that was right about our, let's see, where were we on the laps? Oh, they made a few more laps than last time, so we're going to have a nice little sprint here to the end, JD.
You bet. That was about a 38-lap run on that set of tires, but I'll tell you what, not too many of them left here, but why don't we go ahead and step away. We'll take a commercial break right here. Keep your eye on the screen. You won't miss a thing. But you are watching a live ETV Live. It's the Monday Night Halls on Pro Racing Series here at the Nation. So don't go away. Keep your eye on the screen. Whoa there, cowboy. Ain't no need to get the hammers out and tear it all up. What you need to do is get a hold of David Bass, DB Tech Services. Technology support offered at a price affordable to most churches, not-for-profits, and individual customers. I'll tell you what, David Bass, IT specialist, over 5 years at the corporate level. Hey man, computer maintenance, hardware and software upgrades. I'll tell you what, David Bass DB Tech Services, established specifically to provide lower cost options to churches and non-profit organizations. So put the hammer away, dude. Get a hold of David Bass. DB Tech Services, dbtechservice.com.
Back to green next time by. Lap cars on the inside.
All right, we are back. DB Tech Services. I'll tell you what, you got some problems with your computer, give DB Tech Services a call over there, dbtechservice.com. David Bass, he'll hook you up, get you fixed right up. I understand he's kind of a network expert and computer expert over there. But I'll tell you what, the young man's certainly got the knowledge to help you out if you got some problems with it. Out here on the track, James Greegate hanging on to that lead. Of course, we saw how he got it, or how he was able to hang on to it, actually, keeping Dan White off his bumper there. Dan White bringing out the caution there on lap 136. Set to take the green flag one more time, and we're going to have 10 laps to go, guys. So this is it. Kyle Lent running second as Kevin Brents tries to get up alongside and takes the pass. Going to fall in behind James Greegate. Ernie D'Alfonso up there in fourth. Tony Bolin working back up into the top 5 after that incident he had a while back, Tracy.
I tell you what, the 33 just made a great save. They went hauling down that corner, that 55 of Dwayne Hall. He got back to 33. 3 had to check up a little more than Dwayne was expected, but tell you what, he did a great job keeping that car going forward. Tell you what, everybody's running these cars for everything they're worth right now, JD.
Yeah, you got that right. 9 more laps to go here. I'll tell you what, James Greegate trying to put the distance on that 42 machine. As the 42 machine almost gets it out of shape here, coming into turn 4, coming down the backstretch here. Actually, that was turn 2, coming down the backstretch into 3 and 4 here. James Greegate holding on to it out here in front. I'll tell you what, Kevin Brent's just putting up a fight out here and trying to get hooked up to that bumper. Kyle Lentz seeing all that happen out here in front, hoping either a caution comes out or those two mix it up to the point where Kyle Lentz can squeeze by both of them and get a shot to lead. But I'll tell you what, a new show up here in the front. Kyle Lentz, Tony D'Alfonso, Tony Bowling up here in the top 5. Right behind him, Jason Krause up here in the 77 machine. Don Klein behind him in the 52. Last season's championship driver from the Halls on Post Monday Night Pro Series, Jason Riddle, running in the top 10, running 8th. And Chris Melton running in 9th position. Chris Wilson taking a trip all the way back to 10th place here, guys. Kind of unexpectedly.
I tell you what, we got a heck of a race there for the lead. Kevin Brents is going everywhere. Gets to the outside of the 7 and holds him out there. Gets close to that wall, drags a little bit. The drag race down the straightaway as Kevin Brents is on the outside of the 7 right now, guys.
We have 5 laps to go. I'll tell you what, James Greegate I tell you, man, his eyes got to be glued to that windshield with one eyeball probably up on that rear view mirror. Kevin Brent's trying to make something happen on the outside here. Kevin just can't get it. Got to stay off the wall. Nips that safer barrier. I'll tell you what, they are absolutely duking it out here. Kevin Brent's now going to give it up to Kyle Lentz. Like I said before, Kyle watching all that action out there in front as we get close to the finish here. 3 more laps to go here, guys.
Tell you what, he's probably looking, watching, hoping them guys burn their tires off a little faster. As Kyle Lentz gets on the apron, about loses it, pushes up almost into that 42 car and gets him around. As tell you what, Ernie D'Alfonso is now on the back door of that 16, and the 21 is all over the Tony Bolin. And tell you what, we got all 5 cars running real hard, and Jason Riddle's trying to work his way up to get another spot, JD.
You bet. We are 2 laps to go here. When they cross, when James Greegate crosses the start-finish line one more time here, it'll be the white flag lap. Game over, guys. Whatever happens, got to happen on this lap. No caution will fly after that as we pick up the white flag. Last lap coming around here. James Greegate out in front of Kevin Brent. Kevin Brent's 2 wins here at Richmond, looking to get a 3rd. Doesn't look like it's going to happen here tonight as Kyle Lentz falling off back here in 3rd position. Ernie D'Alfonso up on the outside of 21, Tony Bolin, trying to get there first. The race between 21 and the 24. The 24 is going to get it. Wow, what a finish.
Yeah, I tell you what a great final 15 laps there, JD. Tell you what, they were running them cars so hard. And I tell you what, the 42 of Kevin Brent's figured out there's no way the 7's going to give up the bottom, and I ain't going to get up there and give him the chrome horn, so I'm going for it on the outside. Great job, great finish for all them guys, JD.
You bet, and that's what it boils down to. I'll tell you what, if they could just start these things on like the last 5 laps, that would be perfectly fine with me. But I'll tell you what, that's usually where some of the best racing takes place, is right there in the last couple of laps. James Greegate, Kevin Brent, Kyle Lentz, Ernie D'Alfonso, and Tony Bowling, your top 5 finishers here. And of course, last season's championship driver, Jason Riddle, finishing in 6th. So I'll tell you what a race here at Richmond here tonight. You know, a lot of fun, a lot of action here on ETV. You want to stick with us, and I'll tell you, we'll be here on Wednesday night for the MTCO.com Team Racing Series. But I'll tell you what, as James Greegate celebrates by burning off his tires out there on the start-finish line, we're going to go ahead and cut away for a commercial break and get ready for the MTCO.com post-race show, and we'll be right back.
Hey dudes, this is JD here from ET. You're watching ETV Live, the leader in sim broadcasting. The very best in the business, brings you the highest in broadcast quality with superior audio and instant replay by the exclusive ETV Rewind machine. Follow the live action with producer John Wessing and commentators Sean Bickle, David Bass, J.D. Webb, Jerry Wolf, and more. And don't miss the pre-race entertainment by the ETV Live Band.
Broadcasting live 4 nights a week from RaceSimNation.com.
Have some fun with the broadcast team in the ETV chat room and listen to a live race scanner. And remember, ETV Live, the leader in sim broadcasting. It's the only choice.
All right, we are back live, Richmond International Raceway, and I'll tell you what, sitting down here in Victory Lane with James Greegate, the driver of that number 7 Halls on Post machine tonight. And I'll tell you what, James Greegate, congratulations on the win. First race of the season here, Season 4 of the Halls on Post Monday Night Series. How does that make you feel? Is James with us?
Yep, he's with us now. JD, go for it again.
All right. Apparently James was somewhere else. But I'll tell you what, James Greegate, congratulations on the win here at Richmond International Raceway. First race of the season, Season 4 here at the Monday Night Pro Series. And I'll tell you what, it's got to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, this Halls on Post number 7 was really good tonight, especially on the short runs. On the longer runs, Kevin Brents was just by far the better car on the longer runs, but we had a couple of good long runs there, and we could kind of see where we shaked out. We had one bad pit stop that put us back in the pack, but sure enough, the Halls on Post number 7 kept coming through the field thanks to Dwayne Hall, Kyle Lent, and Tony Bowling, all of us working together, getting that setup squared away, and it was fast.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to take you back to about that mid-season last season. You got 3 in a row, and then suddenly, like you just took a right-hand turn and left the field. Finishing 15th at I think it was Nashville, 10th a week later at Kentucky, and then I think you probably missed 2 or 3 races. We knew what you were up to. In fact, we featured it on the some of the footage from Grundy on the pre-race show. But I'll tell you what, are you back for the season, or what are we looking at here as far as Season 4 from James Greegate?
Well, we're definitely going to put more emphasis on it this season than we did last season. Obviously, last season, the late model side of it took priority, and it showed as soon as we started getting into the heavy part of the season between work and the late model, that team. It just cut down the sim racing practice time, all that stuff altogether, just absolutely killed us as far as the sim racing side. So this season we'll be doing a little bit more practicing, a little bit more fun, showing up on both Mondays and Wednesdays. Wednesdays sporadically, but Mondays should be most of the season. But it's hard to get 12 weeks straight where you don't miss a race. That's what happened 2 seasons ago. That's what happened last season. We missed 1 race, and the next thing you know, you're out of the points, and it's just steamrolls.
I'll tell you what, looking over here in the Halls on Post chat room over here, Nicole says you needed a fix. Is that right?
Yeah, I was kind of walking around in circles last Friday night. It was our first off night from the late model side of it, and kind of walking around in circles, and I realized that basically I just kept turning left every single time I was making circles at the house on Friday. So I did need a fix. This was a much welcomed excursion for the night. Got home, actually got in here about an hour and a half early, got some practice time in with Tony, Kyle, and Dwayne, and it showed.
You bet. It absolutely showed tonight. The only thing I can tell Nicole is, sweetheart, you better pull the carpet up off the floor and make sure there aren't no little rubber nubbins up there in the corners of the floor. So I tell you what, he'll keep burning those laps up there. Any shout-outs out there you want to give, James?
Well, of course, I've got to say thanks to my wife, Nicole. She's absolutely amazing. It was great this whole summer with being there every single Friday night, and then obviously being as supportive as she is of the sim racing side of it too. She's awesome. I love her. Angela Hall and Halls on Post Accounting and Tax Services. It's getting to that time again. Tax season's coming up, so look her up, Angela Hall. I can't thank her enough for the sponsorship. And again, just ETV, MTCO, all you guys, you're awesome. JD, all you guys up in the booth. John Wessling, you guys are just top notch. And again, I got to thank Kyle Lent, Dwayne Hall, and Tony Bowling.
You bet. Glad to have you back, James. I'm going to throw it on down pit road just a little bit here. Tracy Robinson standing by with second-place finisher and 2-time winner here at Richmond, Kevin Brents.
Yeah, I'm down here with Kevin Brents. Tell you what a great job and what a great show Kevin Brents put on all night long. Never left that top 5, I believe. I think the farthest back he fell, maybe 4th. But tell you what, tell us about your race there, Kevin.
The race was good. Just disappointed about the outcome. It's kind of hard to be disappointed about second, but the car was great on a long run. I tightened it up a lot in order to maintain the grip off of 2 there. So we didn't really have a short run car. I think about a 1/10.5 off of what I can do. We loosened this baby up for about 10 laps there, but I don't know. I just wish we would have went green there with about 50 to go.
Yeah, I tell you what, we started watching, and it seemed to be right around 20, 25 laps. People's tires would get, right where tires would get hot, and that's when our caution would come out. But I tell you what, we did get a decent run there at the final. I think we had 37 laps for that last caution came out there, Kevin.
Oh yeah, that was the one where Greg was in front of us. I was pretty desperate to get by him, and because we were going a lot slower than I wanted to at the time, so I made a mistake. Dan White got by me, and then he took a shot at Greg there and spun himself out. You know, it's Greg did it right. You know, we were much faster coming off of 2, and he just slowed his car up. It's, depending on our runoff, it slows us up. You know.
That sounds like something maybe you learned there from racing that late model, but is there anything shout-out you want to give out tonight, Kevin?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys up in the booth and my teammates. Looking forward to rewatching this.
All right, guys, that's your second place finisher. And I'm going to throw it up to John. I think he caught up with that third place finisher tonight.
I sure have, guys. Caught up to that 16 car, Kyle Lent. We knew he'd be fast here tonight. He was running. It looked like he might have a chance to win this race, but he got loose and out of shape a few times. A few cars got underneath him. Kyle, tell us about your night, and tell us how much that duck helped you from Affleck tonight.
Yeah, well, no, first thing I gotta thank Halls on Post for giving me the opportunity to drive for him. No, it's definitely something I've been looking forward to for a while. But overall, no, from coming from a lap down, from pit road to third, no, this car was great. We had an excellent long run car. I was kind of upset about that last caution because I knew we had a better car than all the other 3 cars on the long run, so we were catching up pretty good.
Yeah, Kyle, walk us through about 20, 25 laps into these tires. It seemed like quite a few drivers must have been getting that right rear pretty hot. Seen a lot of guys really getting bent out of shape. It seemed like it took about 20, 25 laps. Did you have that same problem with the setup underneath your car tonight?
I actually didn't have that problem. My setup actually around 20, 25 laps. My car just ran even better than what it does on the start. We definitely did not have a good short run car. Our car was set for a long run, and that's what we were good at.
Well, Kyle, first race of the season here in the Halls on Post Pro Series. It's got to be looking pretty good for Halls on Post. You dropped 3 cars in the top 5 tonight. The only car that wasn't in the top 5 was Dwayne Hall, and I believe that's because he got some damage about the middle part of this race. Things got to be looking good in that camp.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to be contending for that championship on Wednesday night, and I know me, James, and Tony, we're going to be contending for a championship here on Monday night. I'm just hoping that one of us in Halls on Post wins both of these championships.
Before we send it way up top back to JD Webb, anybody out there you want to give any shout-outs to? Colin?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Angel Hall for giving me the opportunity and Dwayne for giving me the opportunity to drive for him. Children's Healthcare of America, Aflac, Halls on Post, and of course my teammates James, Tony, and Dwayne. I couldn't have done this without them.
There you go, J.D. Webb. And before I send it back up to you, I just want to make sure all our race fans here and all our viewers here at ETV are got their prayers out to, I believe it's the Hall family's nephew, I believe, going through some chemo, and poor little kid just going through a lot right now. So all our race fans and all our members here at RSN, keep that little one in their prayers, J.D. I'll send it back to you.
You bet, and I wouldn't be opposed to doing a little special benefit for the young man, maybe getting a stuffed animal or something from ETV and sending it over to him. But all our best to the Hall family over there. But I do got to mention this, looking over here at the chat room over here now. This is coming from Angela Hall. She is the team owner and the boss around the Hall residence over there, from what I understand. She says, Dwayne better step it up or I'm gonna go get my crowbar. I wonder what that means, Tracy.
I think I'm going to have to send my name to James a few times to remember that I actually work up in the booth. But I tell you what, that crowbar is probably just to tune him up a little bit, JD.
Yeah, you bet. I'll tell you what a night here at Richmond Speedway, Richmond International Raceway. A lot of fun here tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed the pre-race show, the interview with Dan White and crew. And I'll tell you what, looking forward to an outstanding season here on Monday nights. But don't forget, all right, Tuesday nights with the Truck Series, iRacing Truck Series, you're going to have Jesse the Outlaw James in the booth alongside with David Bass, John Wessing at the controls again. So you don't want to miss that action. About same time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night here, about 8:30 p.m. on ETV. And then, of course, on Wednesday night, don't miss that action live from Chicago. It will be the MTCO.com Team Racing Series. Jerry Wolf will be aboard and joining us. But right now, Tracy, we need to thank a bunch of people along the way, and that's probably one of the things that I forgot to send you was the thank you list. So I'll tell you what, I'll just go ahead and start off, and if you got it, go ahead and cut in there. But you know what? True Gravity Arch Design, They decorate the house that we live in here at RaceSimNation.com. Got to thank Sean Bickle for all the work he does. Of course, True Gravity Arch, they sponsor the Tuesday night truck races there, Tracy.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we got to thank MTCO Gaming Server for hosting the best racing sim around. Tell you what, rock solid servers for your gaming needs out there. And NVG Web Hosting for hosting the RSN website, a website that's constantly getting slight adjustments to it, just improvements. Halls on Post for sponsoring the Halls on Post Monday night race series here. Tell you what, a great season we've been starting off again. DB Tech Service sponsor the Saturday Night Thunder series, and the ARCA League Manager, our points manager software. We wouldn't know where these guys finish and keep track of the points without them. And the Sim Factory for producing the ARCA sim racing game, a game that's actually standing up and being a real good sim for all these guys to run on, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, we want to thank the Exile Racing Group for sponsoring the Sunday Night Shakedown Series. The Nation itself, I'll tell you what, RaceMNation.com, you want to strap one of these puppies on, first go to thesimfactory.com, $49 cowboy, get the game, get it downloaded, get signed up over at the Nation, and come race with the best. Jody Johnson, we'll be hearing more from him as the season moves on. Check out the power rankings from Jody over at the Nation, RaceMNation.com. And I'll tell you what, he does all the write-ups post-race for us, too. ETV executive producer John Wessling, always working to improve things around the ETV studios here. And, of course, ETV junior producer Jerry Wolf, always hanging around in the background. And then to Trackmaster Dwayne Hall, reworking a lot of the tracks here for the Nation for us to have some fun on. And, of course, my co-host Tracy Robinson. And our other kind of a part-time co-host we're introducing into the booth, Wendy Bernard. She's a team owner from Dragon Motorsports. And, of course, not to mention here, and you know what, maybe it's right that we mention them all last, but I'll tell you what, there is no better racing here than you find here on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night or any night of the week. We have to thank all the drivers for the racing they do here. Good, clean, and green. And I'll tell you what, working a 7 caution average here at Richmond tonight, Tracy, they were able to beat it tonight with only, I believe we got away with 5 of them. So a good night of racing here at Richmond, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, these guys have always improved our caution rates, and that's what we love to see out here on the track. Good racing draws in a lot more drivers. Hopefully we get some people watching who are really interested and get the game, join in. Tell you what, if you want to learn to race these cars and get some help, come over here to RSN. Yeah, and give Dan White a call. Remember, he said that in the pre-race show. All right, that's going to wrap it up from Richmond International Raceway. We'll see you in Chicago on Wednesday night.